Hello and welcome to another Blood Bowl replay analysis. Once again we're looking at a game with the Spice Boyz, the Orc team, that I criticised quite a lot in my last team. And this time they're playing a Khemri team coached by a pretty experienced coach, pretty good coach, but someone who's not necessarily used to playing Khemri. So we'll look at what we've got. The Orcs back to 4 black Orcs. Let's put the grid on so we can actually see what's going on. So just showing the extra skills. We don't need to know that all the skeletons have a thick skull. So we've got 4 black Orcs. 1, 2, 3 blitzers, a lineman, a thrower, and a goblin, and obviously the troll in the middle. On the other side, we've got Khemri with 4 Tomb Guardians. The game has decided that one of them is going to start in the reserves box, and then the standard 2 Blitzras, 2 Throw-Ras, and skeletons for the rest. So we let the game run. We've got a couple of black Orcs with block. Excellent first pick for them. We've got a troll with guard. That's pretty good standard normal pick for a troll. On the other side, there's a skeleton with a wrestle. That's probably going to be a nuisance, but that's it. Looks like the team's either taken some injuries or is just spreading out SPPs by not scoring enough touchdowns, which is a standard early Khemri problem in my experience. So, let the team set up. I can't for the life of me remember who's kicking to who, and the game is not going to tell me at this point. Let's have a look here. So, the Khemri have fame, +1, and they've taken a bribe. That's interesting. Right, so Spice Boyz get to make their 1 square move. So the thrower's moved off to help collect the ball. Probably bring this guy over as well. I'd probably come back. But, you know, 1 square movement here or there is not going to make much difference at this stage. So, looks like I'm going to be fighting the camera again. So, pushing deep down the left flank and then trying to get some blocks in on this side. We've got strength 4 versus strength 5 on the Tomb Guardians, but these 2 guys have picked up block, and that's a KO on a Tomb Guardian. That can be huge. Tomb Guardians are strength 5 pieces, so getting 1 out at this stage is really nice. Looks like the Orcs are sort of building a pocket here, but this guy has not got the movement to get into it this turn. So I think that is maybe a bit premature. I think they maybe should have been caging back here. As it turns out, he rolled double 1 on the pickup, but you know, that's what it is. So early use of a reroll by blocking with the Tomb Guardian, but by doing that, he's opened up a gap to run some players through. Now I think the risk with Khemri here is getting bogged down in this area. Orcs are not a particularly manoeuvrable team, but they are more manoeuvrable than Khemri. Although 4+ dodge, if you're willing to use a reroll, that works 75% of the time, and those are odds that I think a lot of conservative Blood Bowl players wouldn't normally take, but actually it is sensible to with these teams. Now I think my concern here, going for the foul. Okay, well that's not really panned out because it's a skeleton sent off for a stun, but obviously that skeleton's off for the rest of the game. They are men up, so if the game were to restart now, it would still be 11 versus 11, but they're 2 players down on the pitch, and that is, well, too many. Khemri kind of like to be ahead on players. They don't like being behind. that's what I was talking about here, that this sort of push through is now going to get bogged down and is going to get trapped if they're not careful. And the Orcs can form a screen here if they're sensible, and run the ball into it. This guy's got Frenzy. I think Frenzy's quite an interesting pick on an Orc Blitzer. I don't know if it would be my first pick. I think I would probably go either Tackle or Mighty Blow. But Frenzy does make him a threat on the sidelines, and that's quite a nice thing to have. This time, Sure Hands does its work. But, I don't know, throwing with Orcs, it's not what I'd do. And I think the ball in this area here is much safer than the ball down there, where, okay, it'll be a dodge, but the Khemri can come round at him. I think that would have been probably a better move, because, okay, there's the block here. You could maybe try and run this guy through, but that's going to be a 1 dice block, and you could have maybe pushed a bit further or something. I don't know. But it looks like the Khemri are getting themselves out of the mess that they've got in here. But they do have a line of Orcs between their strong players and the ball, which is a nice thing to have. But again, here we go. Dodging with Khemri. It's a thing they can do. Let's never forget that Khemri can and will dodge. And now there's a tackle zone on the ball, and the ball is looking quite exposed. So the Orcs do what they do best. They start hitting things. 2 dice block with block against no block. Brilliant. Why is that troll move there? This isn't where the game is. Well, I suppose it could be to block here and free up this guy. Bringing that lineman into this area would be a great help. Same with this Black Orc. We've got him free, so let's use him. And I think now you consolidate this position here. You defend that ball. You've got this guy and that guy sorted. But you've got a guy on the ground there next to the ball. Move the ball a square over and the ball is safe. Leave it there, and that's a 1 die block, because this guy has taken away their tackle zones. Neither of them have got guard. So that's a 1 die block on the ball. I'd take that. So before he does anything else, he's doing the safe move of getting that guy back for defence. And then, okay, it's a 5+ to knock him down. Although actually, it wouldn't amaze me if the Khemri player took them both down there quite happily. But even on a push, the ball would be in a tackle zone, and the Orc player would be in a bit of trouble. So it looks like what the Khemri try and do here is, well, turn the ball over ideally, but also use those blocks on the ball to at least slow down the Orcs as they come in. That's quite sensible. Okay, it leaves the troll in his zone, but the troll doesn't need to do anything, and it keeps players boxed up in that area there, which is where you need him to be. I don't think he should have gone that way. I think he should come back here to protect the ball and secure this area here, and then grind on down the pitch. It's turn 4. You're in no hurry to score, so don't run off. Don't do that, because you've left a big hole through here that this blitzer can dodge into. This guy can potentially dodge through. That's the wrestle guy. Well, he's not going to come through, but he's up and he's going to be moving. And I suspect that there's a dodge coming there to attack the ball again. Another player freed up here. Just the Khemri using their raw strength to clear routes through, which is what they're good for. I personally would have played my Tomb Guardians a bit further back. Let the Orcs come onto them. So here we go. It's a dodge, but it's got a reroll. Doesn't get it this time, but it's more likely to work than not. And I think the Orc player is now worrying too much about these Tomb Guardians and not enough about everyone else. He does seem to be starting to learn his lesson from last game. He's picking players up before doing anything that involves rolling dice. And then that's not bad. He's making sensible moves, but I think freeing up that guy was the key. Well, he's made a mistake here, so he's pushed this Tomb Guardian next to the player he needs to blitz with. He should absolutely have done that blitz first, and then you can muck around with these guys. If nothing there had moved, the Orc player was probably happy with it because it kept those Tomb Guardians tied up. As it is, that's a 2 dice block on the ball. Block against no block. And there's the ball. And that's a bit of luck, isn't it? As Khemri, you don't expect to catch anything. You don't honestly expect to pick much up. But that is not good for the Orcs at all. This guy can stand up, but everyone else is going to have a hard time. This guy's probably the one to come through and blitz, but no, he can't. That's nicely screened off. And if you let that throw Ra get away, he's gonna be off up here slowly, but inexorably, and it's going to be tricky to catch him. Going for the 1 die, got the skull, but it's got a reroll. Unfortunately, it's only a push. But Frenzy does its job, and that's a KO'd throw Ra, which can be huge. With sure hands, throw Ras are the players on the Khemri team who stand a chance of picking up the ball. So they are players, as the Orcs, they want to get off the pitch if they possibly can. They're also they're armor 7, no thick skull, so they're quite easy to get off the pitch. And that was unlucky, but that's the way it goes. So the only problem we have here is the ball carrier's got Frenzy, which is never ideal. So it looks like the Khemri player is going to set up a block on this thrower and then have the ball sandwiched onto the sideline, leaving this Frenzy player nothing to do. He can do a 1 dice block with him, but that's a 1 dice, and if he doesn't knock him over, it's into a 2 dice, and he'll still be in a tackle zone even if he succeeds the 1 dice. Black Orc out the game for a bit there. Tomb Guardians aren't like mummies on the undead team. They don't have mighty blows, so they're not removal machines. But you throw enough strength 5 blocks, you're going to start breaking armor sooner or later. That's unfortunate. That's the second throw Ra KO'd. So if the ball goes loose now, the Khemri player is going to have a much harder time picking it up. It's going to be 50% rolls, not 75s, and that's obviously a big old difference, and could change the way this game works. So that's unfortunate. Double skulls, it's, no one ever banks on double skulls. But the guy is safe from being surfed off the pitch by dint of being lying on the ground. It's the Khemri turn 7, so Khemri are not going to score. They're not trying to score anymore, but they want the Orcs not to score, so they're going to just put tackle zones on the ball, particularly this guy, the high strength tackle zone. He's hard to shift away, and really there's no one who can do it except this Black Orc, who is marked by 2 men and lying down. I don't know if that was worth it. I suppose it was, yeah. It was a 1 die block, but it was a 1 die block with wrestle. Pretty good chance of knocking that guy down and removing him as a threat. Still possible to maybe run some people around here. And then go for it at the end to pick it up, because why not? It's whatever happens there, it's going to end up in some form of tackle zone. and then throw it away to make sure the Orcs cannot get to it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That thrower can't get to it. So it's a Black Orc dodge, pick up, throw to score. I think we can reasonably safely say that the Orcs are not scoring in this half. Which is, you know, that's a win for the Khemri. The Khemri have survived their opponent's drive. What they need to do now is collect the ball and score themselves in 8 turns for a 1-0 win. So all they're going to do now is do some blocking, see if they can do some hurting. Probably leave the troll alone, but start smacking these guys around here, because you roll enough armor dice, sooner or later you'll get a 10 and see what you can do. So, into the second half, and we will see what happens. The Khemri have got unlucky with their KOs. Both Throw Ras are still out, and the Tomb Guardian is still out. So that's 3 key players not on the pitch. And of course they've got this skeleton who was sent off for being a naughty boy. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there is a guy behind the troll. 9 Khemri players against 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 full complement of Orcs. That's not great for the Khemri. I think if I were the Khemri player, I would be tempted to concentrate on not losing before concentrating on winning. So by that I mean hold the ball as best you can. No one's actually that good at picking it up, but hold the ball as best you can and make sure that you don't get turned over as much as them trying to score. It's a lucky kick, and the Khemri player does exactly the right thing. He puts someone on the ball straight away. I say lucky because it's ended up on this side of the pitch when clearly the Khemri are stronger on this side and are looking to get the ball into this area in a turn or two. The Khemri don't have anyone available to mark these 2 guys, so these 2 are going to go charging up after the ball if they can. Khemri player here is going for serfs. I think my only concern here is, yeah, obviously go for a serf, but it's a 1 die. Okay, you've got wrestle, so it's safe, but it's a 1 die for the serf, but that's 3 players tied up for the price of 2. Now going for the pickup, frequently the last thing you do. The ball has landed in 2 tackle zones. That's why this guy moved back, is so that if that happens, the ball is safe. Or if something had gone wrong somewhere else, the ball has got a tackle zone on it. 2 tackle zones, that's tricky to pick up. You can blitz one of them off, you're unlikely to blitz both of them off. Now I don't know if the Khemri player had just not seen that goblin, but it's quite a sensible thing to do first, because there's no part of a failure on a throw teammate that causes a turnover, so it's not essential to get that goblin up here, but it's nice. Now I think this guy probably should have come into here, helped with the block here, but he's decided to keep free, and then the goblin's picked up the ball and is running away. But that's a strength 2 player carrying the ball. And I don't think standing up here was necessarily a brilliant idea, because that surf is still on. fact, bring this guy around here, and you can knock one over and surf the other. But as I say, that's a lot of players committed to surf an Orc Blitzer. But it's going to be another turn before we really get any players out of there and back into the game, which is happening over here. And this is where it's 4+, but use the reroll. Definitely use the reroll there, because otherwise it's a touchdown. And hit that goblin. Now that's a second lucky catch of a bouncing ball by the Khemri. But luck's part of the game. It's a dice game. Luck is part of it. So what do we do here? Blocking again with Frenzy is a bit risky here because you're going to get yourself away from your supports. But that guy is surfable. It's 2-1 dice. Actually, no, it's now 2 dice. So I would go for that dodge, and I would definitely spend a reroll on it. And get to Pow. Sends the ball into the corner. The risk of that is what's happened here is the ball has been bounced off the pitch, and then you don't have control over where it's going, and there's no one here who can capitalise on it. I think the best thing to do would have been to push him back over the line. At least then there's one less square for the ball to bounce off the pitch. In the corner it can go off in 5 out of 8 directions. If it's just against the sideline, then it's only 3 out of 8. The odds are better. These players are now extricating themselves from that bit of play, but that's almost been a completely separate game to what's actually happening with the ball. I'm going to stop waving the mouse around like a lunatic for a bit. And that's nice for the Khemri. Got a man on the ball. He may not be able to pick it up, and he's kind of asking to be served here. But I guess he's giving the Orc player the choice. You can surf me, or you can go and score and protect the ball. Which is it going to be? And the Orc player decides, you know what, I want that ball, I want that touchdown. Takes out the skeleton. Skeletons are armor 7, so not a huge surprise. But it's alright because he got better. And then pick up the ball. Nice touchdown. But you know what? I should think that with, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns remaining, the Khemri player's probably happy that he's got a reasonable chance of scoring an equaliser. So who stayed off? Throw-Ra stayed off. Yeah, both Throw-Ras are still off. But the Tomb Guardian has come back at least. This Khemri player's had quite bad luck with his KOs, just on who they were and where they've not come back. The Orcs back to full strength. Now, last time these formations on the side ended up with the risk of getting surfed. I think I would have pulled my players into the middle. The Khemri aren't going to run around the side of you. It's just not what they're capable of doing. You don't need to be defending the wide zones in anything like the strength that they are. And frankly, you're just giving those Tomb Guardians targets to hit. You know, a Tomb Guardian here can hit a guy. A Tomb Guardian here can hit a guy. It is their strength 5. It is what they do. And suddenly, you've got a problem because these guys aren't going to get over here. These guys aren't going to get over here because they're going to get tied up. If the players had been more centralised, Khemri could try and push into the centre and beat a load of Orcs, or they could try and go down the side and let the Orcs come round at them and squeeze them out of the game. As ever, picking up the ball is the risky manoeuvre. Burning rerolls on it is, I think, well, with 5 turns to score, the clock is definitely ticking. I think it's definitely the right thing to do is to use those rerolls here. 2 rerolls left for the half. That's not great, but it's doable. Trolls will be trolls, and trolls will be stupid. He's not been that badly behaved. I think the Orc player has been quite sensible in not activating him any more than strictly necessary. And then the Goblin goes for it. Burns the reroll, but he gets a tackle zone on the ball. I don't think I'd have burned a reroll there because that guy's not really got anywhere to aim for. He's probably aiming up here, but he's not going to get there this turn. So you've got a chance to get players more involved into this area. I think it was more key to get these guys back into the centre. Taken both down there, but the Goblin gets stunned. But good news for the Orc player, the ball has stayed put. And he can start to dig himself out of trouble here, whereas this was starting to look like serfs again, wasn't it? That was a dodge into a tackle zone, which is, you know, brave. I suppose a dodge into a tackle zone for an Orc is the same as any Khemri dodging out of the tackle zone. So, we've seen a few of them. Ah, double skulls. That's not nice at this stage. He's got to re-roll it. And then he's got to get a move on. Suddenly this flank has started to open up, so it looks like the Khemri are going down this way. There's two Guardians here, there's 2 over here. There's a number of Orcs who can swing round, try and close the door. That KO makes it a much harder job to fill that hole now. That Black Orc was kind of useful where he was. That's unfortunate for the Khemri player because it brings this guy back into the game. No! Don't go for it. Stand off. Let them come to you. As it is, they can try and block themselves out of trouble. Whereas if you stand off them, A, you save the reroll, but also you're meaning that they can't progress. The Khemri they've got 2 turns, and they've got to go. They haven't even crossed the halfway line yet. They've got a lot of work to do. They're going to need to motor. They've got 3 people here. They can get a block on this guy and basically blitz themselves through. Which, if he'd been standing back a square, would have been a lot harder. So now they can run through here. And, well, let's get to hoping for the best, I think. This guy's keeping those 2 boxed in. So I think the threats are this Blitzer, who's going to get punched by that Tomb Guardian, and this Black Orc, who is... he's agility 2, so he's dodging on a 4+. No one's got any rerolls left, so yeah, it's just going to be luck of the dice as to whether or not he gets up here or not. the only thing to do, and luckily he rolls a 6, so anyone would have walked through that. But unluckily, it's then 2 pushbacks and no rerolls. So this is going to leave the Khemri player with a bit of a confused thing to do. So is it 4+ dodge, or does he go for the 2 dice blitz? It'll be two dice uphill. So I'm given to understand that the 2 dice block is the safer of the 2 options, which is therefore what he goes for. All he needs is a push. So and both, if it had come up both down as the worst option, then he would have been no worse off than he was before. So really, it's 2 dice and don't roll a 1 on either. You know, it's only rolling a 1 on either dice that's the fail state for that. So whilst, you know, obviously don't do two die uphill blocks is a standard piece of advice. When you've got to, and just be aware of what the fail states are. And then we're into turn 16 for the Orcs. So I would imagine they're going to try a 1-turner with the thrown goblin. That's what I would do. That's the only thing that you can do at this stage. So it's going to be try and push a Tomb Guardian away, and then get the ball to the goblin, and then lob the goblin, and hope he can get through this. It's going to be a lot of 3+ dice, but no one's got tackle, so he's got his reroll built in, and it's just a case of see what happens. So I think the Orc player needs to set more people further back. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4. These guys could have been a couple of squares further back and still had a good chance of getting the ball to the goblin. Whereas now he's got to go back and then forwards. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got it. It's gone to the goblin. Goblin's dropped it. Goblin's had another go. He's dropped it again. And that is that. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do like, share, subscribe, all those things. And I will probably be back at some point with another one of these. They seem to be quite fun to do, so if people do like watching them, I might keep recording them. But thank you ever so much for watching. Bye-bye.